have something to ask you before we go on to the video. Do you like delicious food? Probably yes, right? Are you a subscriber? Why not? If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that subscribe button big time, because you know why? All I have on here is nothing but delicious food. And if you're not a subscriber, chances are is you're gonna miss out on some amazing, delicious food. So, in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make some delicious vegan crab cakes. And you're probably thinking, what the heck is a vegan crab cake? Well, listen, I kind of thought the same thing until that idea popped into my head, and I decided to make them, and it turned out amazing. Let's get veggie. So into the food processor, I have already added 1 can of rinsed and drained chickpeas. And you want to do chickpeas because any other beans that you will use will end up making your crab cake taste more like a bean burger. And that's not what we're going for here. So we're going to do chickpeas, and then we're also going to toss in 1 slice of bread. I'm using wheat bread. You could use white bread. It really is, it's just up to you, whatever kind of bread you choose. But again, I'm using wheat bread. And I'm just like breaking it up slightly. You don't have to do too much because you're going to post this anyways. And then we're going to go ahead, like I said, and post this. Alright, and now I just have this, like, I just want to make sure that everything, there's like no big chunks left. You can make this by hand and mush it by hand. I did it by hand and I loved it, but my husband, which is a non-vegan, said that he thinks it would be more crab cakey if it was like more blended and you wouldn't feel the pieces of chickpeas. And I usually go with the whole, you know, non-vegan opinion because that's the type of people that you do most of the time want to persuade into liking the vegan food, right? You know what I mean? You know. So next, I'm going to go ahead and toss in about 1/4 of a container of firm tofu. If you crumble it up, it should be somewhere around 1/2 cup of tofu. So I'm just going to toss that in there. I'm also going to toss in 1/4 of a bell pepper. I'm just using yellow. You can use any bell pepper really. This is just one of the colors that I have on hand. And I'm just like roughly cutting it up in my hand. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's like squirting at me. Then I'm also adding in 1/2 of a red onion. You can use any onion. This is not like super specific. And I just kind of like chopped it up really roughly. And I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of parsley. You could do more if you like parsley, like a lot or whatever. And then I'm also doing a nice generous like pinch of salt. We're also going to be adding some cracked black pepper. And when I tell you this recipe, if you have a craving, like a lingering craving for some sort of crab cakes, when you taste this, you're going to love it. It's so easy and so simple to make. You're going to wonder why you didn't make it any sooner, because that's how I'm thinking. When I came up with this recipe, I was like, what? And it was like at nighttime. I was just like messing around with food, and I was like, why don't I try to make some crab cakes with just like just stuff that I have laying around in my refrigerator. And I did, and I absolutely loved it. So also I'm going to be adding 1/2 teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning, and then just 1 squirt, just make sure I get the seed that I can see out, 1 squirt of lemon juice. I'm just squeezing it. I'm not like getting the entire 1/2 of the lemon out. You just want just a nice squirt in there. Also, you could toss it over top and see how you like that. Again, I'm going to go ahead and post this. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is just put 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm using vegetable oil because you don't want to use olive oil if you're going to use anything on high heat. And then we're just going to go ahead and start forming these. You can use like a ice cream scoop to make sure that everything is like nice and uniform, or you could just make them just like that. You want these to be a little on the thicker side. You don't want them to be too thin, because then, you know, they'll break apart a lot easier. And not to mention that crab cakes are usually just thicker in size. Alright, now this oil is pretty hot, and you really want this oil to be really hot, because what's going to keep these together for the most part is going to be like that crusty outer edge. Again, if you want more texture in these, just mash them up with a masher. So it's been about 3 minutes, on this side, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it. And once you flip these are actually on a medium-high heat. Once you flip these, you're going to notice that they're a bit soft. But once you take these off of the stove, you're going to let them sit for about 5 minutes, and these will harden up a bit more. They'll firm up. So once these are nice and golden on both sides, you're going to go ahead and remove these carefully from the pan and place them onto a paper towel lined plate for about 5 minutes before you dig into them. It's going to be hard, but they smell delicious and they will firm up more. Maybe in the meantime you can make the sauce that I'm going to show you how to make next. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the tartar sauce. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a very simple tartar sauce style, sauce. So this is a tartar sauce, like, a vegan tartar sauce. And I am using half of a cup. And you're like, how did you measure half of a cup? I already worked out the perfect measurements. Right now I'm eyeballing, but I know that these amounts that I'm giving you work out. So we have half a cup of vegan mayo. We have 1 heaping tablespoon of finely chopped pickles. And you could use dill relish, which is pretty much the same thing. But I couldn't find any when I was taste testing or testing this recipe out. So I went with this and it worked out perfectly fine, so I didn't want to change it. And then I'm also going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. Try not to add any of the seeds in there. I didn't want to get my hands all lemony, but anywho, there we go. So you're going to go ahead and mix this up. I'm also going to add just the smallest pinch of salt. Here we have our very plain, basic tartar sauce. You're going to go ahead and add as much as you want of sriracha sauce if you want it spicy, if you want to spice it up. I'm going to go ahead and add about, a tablespoon of sriracha sauce to spice everything up really good and just make it that much more delicious. You can also finely chop some parsley and toss it in there. That would make it taste yummy. Or sprinkle in some garlic. You know what? I hadn't thought about that before, but I am definitely going to sprinkle on some garlic powder. So let's say 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder is what I sprinkled in there. Give it a taste. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. So if you want to plate these beautifully, we're just going to go ahead and put a nice dollop of tartar sauce, or spicy tartar sauce, or if you choose to use the non-spicy, we're going to go ahead and just put a dollop of the sauce right over top each one of these. And then we're going to go ahead and garnish it with just a little parsley leaf. Alright guys, so you know what time it is. It's time for that original taste test cam. So let's go ahead and take a big bite. Whoa. I need to go in for some more. This is so incredibly delicious. You guys. But I will point out, you have to eat it with a fork because it's not super firm where you could hold it in your hand for too long because it can fall apart. So that's a quick warning. Also, if you like a little more texture, don't be afraid to mash it up with a masher, because I like both masher and non-masher, but I do prefer a little bit more texture in mine. But I did want to show you this way as well and tell you about the other way. So so that's it. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram so that I can see whatever you have recreated with any of my recipes, because I would love to see that. Also, don't forget to share this video so other people can see how delicious vegan food could be. And click on one of these videos to continue watching if you like. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye guys!